again real quick?
In a second, hold on a second.
All right.
I want to welcome everybody to the meeting. I'm gonna call the meeting to order at 1:06 p.m. on Saturday, May 13th, 2023. Hello, everybody. Hope you all had a good week this week. And if Sean, you would like to read the roll, you can.
Yes, I will read the Zoom roll, skipping over I'm here. Janae is here. Erwin is here. Larry and Nikki Hansen are here. Shirley and Lynn Roberts. Catherine Bister. Dustin Grandstaff. Melody Holloway. Patrick Simmons. And Vicky Prayan. The voice I'm using now wants to call you Praheen because it's one of the Microsoft ones. And that concludes the Zoom list.
So, well, that's great. So that means they know Croatian.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
He calls me Teal, though. So, you can't have everything.
No.
And
Yeah.
here comes Denise Bauman as well. She is.
So in the room, we have Ed Snively,
Mike Bressel,
Mary Lynn Pifo.
hello,
Troy Sullivan,
Mary Carabinus.
and I'm not sure I was counted, Lee Tucker and Sean Thiel. So maybe we can count twice.
Okay.
Well, and Denise Bauman just came into Zoom as well.
Hello, Denise. Okay, well, welcome again, everyone. I want to say, Mary, I like the way you say your last name. It sounds nice and elegant. Mary Carabinos, when she says it sounds very elegant. So, okay, let's see. I'm still trying to memorize all of that I need to do. Can we have I believe next one list is the treasurer's report. I'm not going past my stuff.
The minutes are first.
Oh, minutes. Okay. That's okay. Thank you. Okay. Has everybody read the minutes from the last meeting? Are there any corrections to the minutes? Any concerns?
I would like for somebody who is better at spelling her name than I am. Ting's name is incorrect in the minutes, and so if somebody could get that to Ed with the proper spelling, because my name can't remember it right, or my brain can't remember it right now. But
I want by what I checked them.
Oh,
okay,
okay.
that's the only thing I noticed.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Is there anyone else that has any concerns about the meeting minutes from the last meeting? Any other corrections or concerns? Going once, going twice. So, someone like to make a motion to approve the meeting?
Erwin, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as corrected.
Lee Tucker, I second.
So the meeting minutes have been so moved and approved. Okay. And next, I believe, if I remember correctly, the treasurer's report is next.
Yes, and I'm sorry, I'm having problems because I'm so close to the speaker. Anyhow, I'm going to do this in the short version because I've sent it out by email in 2 different forms, and we have a whole lot to get through today. So this is our situation as of 5/12. The ending balance in our checking account is almost $23,000 for an increase of a lordly $33 almost. The Unusual expenses this month are $44 paid to the Secretary of State, Ohio Secretary of State, for a trade name and a certificate of good standing. People helping people account went up by $7 to $2,187 about. And the ending balance of the savings has not changed. It's still 6,200, et cetera, et cetera. The market value of the Columbus Foundation is $87,000 and change. And the only things that happened of note today, as I've already mentioned, the trade name with Ohio Secretary of State, and there was a check with ACB Ohio that got voided and replaced. And that's the short form treasurer's report.
Thank you, Lee. Is there any questions for Lee regarding the treasurer's report? Any concerns about the treasurer's report? Going once, going twice? Who would like to make a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
This is Sean. I move that we approve the treasurer's report as presented.
Ed Snively seconds it.
Ed seconds.
Okay, the motion is approved. The treasurer report report has been approved. Okay, thank you. Let's see. I believe next is the People Helping People report.
Okay. A delayed hello to you, Janae.
Hi.
Anyhow, PHP, there was one inquiry that I need to return the call, somebody wanting to help a friend, and another one about jury accommodations for somebody who was challenged. So I don't think that's quite in the realm of the PHP, but it is a request for information. So
Okay,
that is my report.
thank you so much. The
What?
Sunshine report,
Can I pop in
Yes.
for just a second?
sure.
Denise, you may want to refer them to the ACB advocacy at the national level.
Okay.
I have a feeling that Clark, Rockfall, or Swatha Nandakumar, if I can get it correct, one of them can probably provide some information to that individual. And let's see, 800-424-8666, I think, is
Yeah.
the national number.
Okay. Thanks, Sean.
Yeah, that might be helpful for them.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
And I have, in addition to the PHP report, I had a call from Ricky Hill. And basically, what I was trying to explain to her, the difference between ACB Ohio's matching grant program and the Columbus chapter's PHP program, because she had the two of us confused. So that may be something that rears its head again.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Lee. The Sunshine report.
Yes, I talked to Gail Baldwin this week, and her knee is still bothering her quite a bit. But her knee replacement surgery is scheduled for May 16th, and I'm sure she'll have to spend some time in rehab after that. But I'll keep everybody informed.
Thank you.
Is
Is there anybody that we need to add to the Sunshine list for next time?
Yes, there are. Don Haynes is a longtime member of the group and former teacher at OSSB, et cetera, et cetera. Anyhow, he had a procedure done to resynchronize his heart. One of the auricles or ventricle, anyhow, one of the four parts was not in sync with the other three. And the symptom of that turns out to be fast weight gain. So anyhow, that's been done and has been successful, and he may never have to do it again, or may have to do it again next week. You just don't know. So he's medicated, and that's what we know. Second report is the Gail Horton was in the doctor's office and had a 10-minute seizure right in front of her doctor.
Oh, my.
So she was hospitalized for testing, and they actually caught the darn thing happening with the test equipment. So she is medicated and hopefully will improve.
And they're actually able to try, offer a medication immediately, which is also good news.
Oh, good.
Good, good. I'm glad. I'm glad. I have a family member that suffers from seizures, and when she was in the hospital, they couldn't catch one while she was there. So I'm glad that.
Especially the doctors.
Yeah, that's lucky. What I will say I have learned from my new employment is that, as Denise was saying, there are medications that can be given to people depending on what their doctor says and stuff, that like after, if a seizure has been going on for 2 minutes, then so and so might need this particular medication. So there are medications that can be given potentially during a seizure to correct it or lessen its severity, as far as my understanding is.
Lee, were they both hospitalized then? Don and
I don't know where Don's procedure was done, but Gail was hospitalized at Riverside for the testing.
Okay.
She's home and feeling more optimistic now that she's been able to get some additional support and information.
Okay, that's good. Lee, can you find out maybe where Don Haynes' procedure was done or where he was?
Yeah, I can check that.
Okay, thank you. All right. Next on the agenda is, are there any updates from ACB Ohio? Any news, any updates?
Well, we have a few odds and ends. It is now May. We are working on the state convention, which will be here in Columbus. I think maybe that we've mentioned that earlier. I don't know for sure, but
Yeah, you have.
okay, we'll be back at the Crown Plaza, which some people have already become familiar with. Some of the kind of exciting things that will be happening, there's a woman here in the Columbus area who has a business making 3D printing things, doing these projects. I think she started out to help students, and this has grown, and she will be presenting, she will be exhibiting, so that could be a really cool thing to check out. We're still working on other program options and speakers, and I think, I won't swear to it, but I think that the decision has been made to have a CPR class during the convention for people who are interested in that as an alternative to some of the other events. So more will be coming out. As always, we are on Voice Corps. Our next show will be June 7th, the first Wednesday of the month, and we will have Jeff Tom to talk about AAVL, the oh gosh, what is that? Aging and Low Vision, Alliance on Aging and Low Vision, I think is what it means. So he has a lot of interesting stuff. We will not have a program in July because it conflicts with the National Convention, or the National Convention conflicts with Voice Corps. I don't know which, but we tried to come up with something we could do, and it just has not worked out. So we'll be back in August with other exciting stuff. And as always, if anybody has suggestions for things you want to hear about, let us know. Just so you can be thinking about it. Coming up in the fall, we'll have some updates on the Ohio laws for voters. A lot of stuff has changed there. We will have someone to talk about Special Olympics, and specifically the Ohio Special Olympics. There's a lot more that goes on there than I ever knew anything about. So, and of course, we'll hear more about our state convention. And of course, I'm sure by now, most of you have heard that Ting, who was our speaker last time, did resign. She found that she couldn't run her own business and keep up with ACB Ohio at the same time. So she is now focusing more on her STEM projects and does plan to exhibit at the convention in November. So we're not totally losing her. We'll still have her input as time goes on. So that's all that comes to my mind. Sean, is there anything else that you can think of?
No, I can't think of anything on that, but while I'm thinking about it, and I meant to text Katie and double check with her. We have a monthly member at large call scheduled tomorrow, but it's also Mother's Day. I don't know if she's continuing that, is still wanting to do that. It is on my calendar and has been bugged me about. So I don't.
It is
Let's-
still on, and I think that it's going to be an open discussion. Maybe this is the one that she was planning to have about where people can talk about books or whatever else they may
I know
have.
that. I think that was last
That last time,
time.
I can't remember one from another, but as far as I know, yes, it will be tomorrow evening.
Okay. I will probably text her and just remind her to send out a note to the mailing list. I know she gets rather busy with work and stuff.
She
So
usually waits till the last minute.
I
Her-
tried
her
to
i-
te- I
her
tried to
idea-
text her.
Her idea is, well, people lose these things if she sends it out too soon. So
Oh, when you tell, okay.
Yeah. 7:30 is the time, Mary asks.
7:30 p.m. tomorrow.
Yes, and as far as I know, it will be the 614-261-3561 is what Katie tends to use for the membership calls. So
Okay, I'll have to email her so I can have the Zoom link. That's what I'll need.
I have that easily in my phone, so I should be able to email it to you. I just, if I remember to. It is in my phone. So
And just I know this isn't the topic at the moment, but as a tech thing, and I don't usually get to talk about tech stuff. They shut me in another room when that comes up. But if you use Zoom on a regular basis, after you select the join a call, if you tab, I believe it's once to the right, you will find your history drop-down box, and that lists the last 10 meetings that you have attended. So if, unless you have some schedule like Sean or Katie or one of those people, arrowing down through that, you will find these various.
yeah, it'll
things,
say
and all you have to do is hit enter on it, and there you go.
yeah,
So-
that one says ACB Ohio's personal meeting room is how that one will be titled. Of course, when convention comes, you may have that
Well, that'll be a whole different.
that list
thing.
may
That list will
may get cluttered with convention.
But-
But
So, and that's how generally I've attended this meeting, and so I was a little taken aback when all of a sudden there was a different Zoom ID for this meeting. It kind of threw things off, so.
My apologies, was trying to
I see
find some things, so.
I see Janet is Janet our speaker today? Denise? Welcome to Janet. I'm guessing that might be Janet Dickelman. I am not sure.
Is that our speaker?
I'm sorry, this is Janet. Yes.
Yay, hello.
Hey, hello.
Hello.
Well, we're still in the middle of the meeting. You're
I
welcome.
know. I just figured I would come in. I'm just going to mute, and this way I don't lose track of time.
That's a good idea.
Sounds good.
So I will mute and listen and half listen and do other things.
That's fine. Thank you for being here. The next thing on the agenda is there any old business we need to attend to or take care of? Any thing that anyone wants to bring up that we've talked about in the past that you feel is unresolved? Any old concerns?
Well, could this be the place where we talk about the summer get together and Christmas get together?
Yes, we can talk about that at this point. Yes.
And Madam Chair, I have something after we do that too, that I wanted to ask about.
Sure. So, Lee, you want to take it away?
Well, actually, I think if Dustin is here, if probably he should take it away.
Yeah, so can everyone hear me fine?
Sure. we
Yep.
can.
Yes.
sir.
Okay, cool. So the summer event, it's all taken care of. It'll be at Massey's Pizza and Sports Bar and Graceland Shopping Center on July 29th from 2 to 5 p.m. That was the easiest one out of all of them to get scheduled. I'm in contact with the manager, and I go there every now and then, so I'm just gonna make it a point to stop in a few times before and just check in with Heather, make sure they're on board for everything. The Christmas party, we don't have a place yet because we need to talk about that today. And Lee, I am going to need your help on some of that because some of the financial parts of it, I don't understand as good as you do. So we looked at 2 places for sure. I was trying to look at a 3rd place. They never got back with me. So that kind of communicated to me that they're not really interested. And so I'm not going to continue to pursue them. The Cheesecake Factory was one of the places we looked at. The problem with that is they could not guarantee that we could all even sit near each other. They really do not do large events or groups. So Beppa di Bupo, I might be pronouncing that incorrectly. I don't care. You know what it is probably our best option out of everything I've found. The thing that we need to decide as a chapter is there's some guidelines that we have to follow. So it's considered to be family style, which means that they're going to give us 3 entrees to choose from. The chapter would have to vote on those entrees. And we kind of need to decide if we want to go with them pretty quickly. And the reason is because right now the spot's available right now, but they can't guarantee that it's going to stay available if we don't commit here pretty soon. Now we don't have to, if we choose 3 entrees today just to book our spot, we have up until a month before to actually change the entrees. So we don't necessarily have to vote on the entrees today. Lee and I could just tell them 3 entrees to reserve our spot. And then there's some financial stuff involved that I would like Lee to discuss if he's willing to do that.
Well, let me say something before Lee talks. So, if you look at where we're eating for the summer, and Bupa de Beto's in the same family of foods, and I would like the chapter to think about, and give suggestions that there are other places we can eat, because Massey's Pizza and Bupa de Beto's all still in the Italian food genre, and we need to kind of broaden where we go and try to have a variety.
Well, then I need suggestions of places. I keep hearing
Correct. That's
that,
why
but
I'm not saying
of
it's just
places.
you 2. I'm saying it in general. I know that's what you have found, but I want to hear from the chapter other places that you would like to go. Because again, we are a group, we advocate and we want people to, keep us in mind, and we want to grow. We got to kind of branch out. And I know Massey's, even going there, that's a place we've been before. But we got to have some variety as we're, continuing on and growing.
Now, Janae, you already sent some emails out about
Yeah, I
some
sent some just
locations.
suggestions, but you know, it's a lot of little things, but I want to hear from other people what they feel. That's, you know, me just sending stuff to you just to say, this is just some suggestion. You
Yeah.
know,
So I'm not going to make, this isn't a motion that I'm making. It's just an idea to think about. We could probably maybe do something like a rotation. Say in June, we go somewhere that's in Easton or out toward Morse Road, Hamilton's, some restaurant in that location. Then we turn the clock face and next we go down to Gahanna area. And then we turn the clock face again and we go out down to Reynoldsburg and out East Main or East Broad. And then we turn again and next go to Grove City. And then we turn again and go out to Hilliard. And then we turn again and go out to Dublin or the Worthington, not Westerville's too far. But anyhow, how does that idea sound? Because that way we go all around the periphery of the city to different restaurants.
so the floor is open. I'd like to hear what people's thoughts are.
Okay, so Ed was not on mic and he said his concern was transportation. Catherine Bister's hand in Zoom is also raised. So
Ed,
whenever you would like to take that.
Catherine, you have something to add in?
Yeah, and I was, at the board meeting when we were discussing this, I apologize for not thinking until afterwards, but Schmitz, which is German food in German Village. I've had groups of visually impaired folks there before. They were very wonderful. They do have a meeting room upstairs. And they don't have an elevator, but they do have like a chair lift up the back stairs. So there is some accessibility. I think that was the only concern with the group, the large group that I was thinking of. But I have had a couple of dinners there with up to like 20 people, and they were beautiful with us. They were really, really accommodating, and so that might be an option. And the upstairs room, I'm thinking, can hold 70 or 80. It's a sit down thing. They can even come up with German entertainment if you want to pay a little bit extra for an accordion player and some storytelling, but that's an option.
I like that.
Well, thank you for your option. I actually like that option.
And the room, their meeting room, their banquet room is really lovely. It's kind of old world, and it's got a lot of atmosphere to it. There are a couple of little steps up and steps down on that level. But if that's okay with the group, that could work. It might be worth exploring.
Yeah, I've been upstairs too. I think a smaller banquet room that was quite nice.
Okay.
So are there any so Melody's hand is raised, but are there any questions in the room first? I'd like to take a room question first, if there are any.
Dustin, can you tell us what the two places you checked out were?
Yeah.
Beppo di Bupo and the Cheesecake Factory.
Right.
Yeah, Buca di Beppo is that one.
Cheesecake, I think.
Okay, do we want to take Melody's question, or do we have it? Is there anything going on in the room?
Anything go on in the room so we can.
I want to be fair to both. Okay, I'm not hearing anything, so Melody, why don't you go ahead?
Okay, I don't know if this is a deal or not, and I did have something regarding a topic before. I feel self-centered now, but the vision support dinners, if we think about where they are, they've been to Schmitz, they've been to Lucky Dragon, they're going to Applebee's May 15th, they've been to El Vaquero. If we could try to get some of those places, and with what Lee's suggesting, the locations going around the outskirts of the city, there's still going to be most likely ADA transportation in most areas. And the places where the vision support dinners have been before, they seem to be quite helpful and they try to go semi-affordable.
That actually makes some sense. If they're kind of used to dealing with that group, then they might be used to be able to help us too.
One of the things to keep in mind is the summer group isn't maybe as much, but especially the holiday group, we tend to be we have more people, and that can be a challenge. So if we have to look at places that can accommodate, you know, maybe it'll only be 40, but we have had 60 plus in the past. So
Yeah.
and if you put a limit on it and say, well, we can only have 42 people, then that kind of crimps some style, and some people feel, well, then I might as well not bother. And that's not what we're about.
Correct. And, you know, it's a cross between that and some variety, you know, and I even have a question. Has ACB ever done a cookout for the summer versus going to a restaurant? Has anybody got any volunteers and done that? That's something different in the past?
Yeah, there was a picnic at someone's house in the past several years ago, and she's no longer able to host that. So that was a thing at one time.
Yeah, there were two houses that were used for that.
Right.
One lady has since passed away, and the
Yeah,
other,
Jackie Giles had
Yeah.
it several summers,
yes,
and then Kate Standerman from Newsreel did
yes,
a few summers, and so they
That
weren't
was
exactly cookouts, but they were great.
yeah, that was giant potlucks. Is what the vitamin was.
But I'm just, you know, that's something to consider, you know, again, it's the summertime, and that would be optimal. You might also get a bigger turnout if it's something outdoors that is not in a place where we're restricted to only so many people, like what Vicky was saying. Something different. If we've done that before, I would like us to consider going back to and just figure out, even if we have to put down a little bit of money out of the chapter to rent a small place, maybe in Black Lick or Sharon Woods or Blendon Woods.
Well, those places are already rented. If we're going to do that, we had to start in January.
Okay.
I need to apologize. Okay, hang on a second. Patrick had a hand raised in Zoom, but I don't see it anymore. So Patrick, while Mary Lynn is making her comment, if you feel you want to contribute again, please re-raise your hand. And Zoom did not tell me that, so I apologize that it took me a minute to, now it's telling me. All right, Mary Lynn.
Columbus Parks and Recs has a place in town, Indian Run. I don't remember the whole name, but that's the gist of it. We've been there, we've done cookouts, we've had stuff in the building, we've hiked. I wonder if that's a possibility. I can check into that if so desired.
If you could, you know, please, that would be great. Cause I just, you know, again, trying to expand and help us grow.
So am I canceling the summer event then, or are we keeping the summer event?
I would keep it.
Keep it for
I would
now.
keep it too. Yes. But we do need to make a decision about Christmas or whether even to try there, because the expense of that place would pretty much limit us to about 40 people.
And it's not fair to them to keep waiting on us to decide.
Yeah.
So can we go ahead and talk about it?
I think we had Patrick that had a comment if he wanted
Sorry,
to.
yes,
do that.
we have Patrick and Catherine with hands up. So
So-
Patrick, why don't you go first? And then after that, if there's any room, we'll take them, and then we'll go on to Catherine. If you do an Alt-A in the Zoom window, Patrick, that should unmute you. Patrick, you are still muted. Do we want to take the next person
Yes.
and come back? And is that in the room or?
Who's next?
Oh, is there anyone in the room that has a question? If not, we will go on to Catherine. Okay, Catherine, I believe that means you can go.
Yay. I was just thinking that for this summer, if Dustin has already made these arrangements with Massey's, we might want to hold on to that, but do some creative thinking about like next summer and doing parks, or get Dustin some help in the planning process, either or.
Hello.
So so that's fine. We can keep it as, but I would like people to check in for things for next year.
Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Because we're coming
Yeah.
down to wires and reservations and
Yep,
Yeah.
makes sense
Right.
to me.
So for Christmas, any suggestions on other places to go for Christmas?
Is there a mic going around or?
Okay, Dustin, I will be sending you suggestions, but I don't know whether they work out. I'll
Okay.
do that. Because
All right.
again, time is for many of these venues is probably short. So
Understood. So,
so everybody send emails to Dustin like Monday.
okay. So, so we have a couple other issues to take care of this. I would be probably found under new business. Oh, Vicky had something she wanted to add or talk about.
I wanted to ask this a few months ago, and then I wasn't at a couple of meetings. So I'm just curious to know if anyone has used either of the alternative transportation options that we heard about at the end of last year, especially when we had the excuse me, the mess with CODA, and people had so much trouble getting from point A to point B, more than usual anyway. I'm just wondering if anybody used the Rogers group or the other one that I can't remember, Troy sent out to us. And if so, if it was a good experience, if they're too expensive to consider, or if anybody knows anything.
It appears not.
Troy has his hand
Oh,
up.
Troy's hand is up in the room.
I actually emailed Rogers Root because I wanted to see how much, I wanted to see if he was able to do like having insurance cover for transportation, and he never got back with me. So I'm not sure if he's even still around.
Well, and even if he's around, if he doesn't bother to respond, it's not worth the
Right.
keeping that information.
I've used UServe, which is, still connects to CODA, and I've had great.
Right, but these were a couple of other
Other ones? Okay.
services not related to CODA
Oh,
in any way.
Gotcha.
Okay, well, that pretty much answers my question.
Okay.
I just thought that maybe, with all the difficulties we all had with transportation there for several months, that perhaps some of this was explored. I don't travel enough these days to really to be a good person to check out some of this stuff, but I thought somebody else might have. So, okay, thank you.
What I will say, and this was before the Coda outage of 2022, which will be remembered for years to come. No, just kidding. But I had some medical appointments and used transportation through Anthem Insurance. I don't know what company they used, but at least for one-way trips to get to those appointments, that went well. Some plans will give you, I think I have, 30 one-way trips for this calendar year that are, it's only medical. But if you have insurance, you may want to check with them and see for medical appointments if there's other transportation options for those. I had 2 or 3 of them and had good experiences. Actually, well, one of them was I had an appointment to cancel and the person still showed up, but that was, that happens sometimes no matter what company you're dealing with. So just if you have insurance, you might see if there are transportation options available to you through that plan. Just don't forget about that possibility.
Speaking of transportation, as we're talking about different items, I was talking with Lee, and I know at one point the organization had a transportation benefit. And so we would like to discuss or look into maybe bringing that back, kind of also to help increase membership and engagement.
May I speak for a minute here too?
Sure. Yes, sir.
Okay, as everyone here recalls, the Columbus chapter used to have a travel benefit, a transportation benefit, which supported chapter members attending the Columbus chapter meetings. That is, we used to be paid for showing up. Now, how the old benefit worked is you had to be a chapter member, and you had to be a chapter member by February 15th. And then if you attended 6 meetings on Larry Honeker's spreadsheet, they divided it $2,200 up is what it was back then, up among however many people that happened to be. And I remember being very surprised when Larry handed me a check for something like $87. I said, like, what's this for? And I said, like, well, it's a transportation benefit, like, but I can drive. And, anyhow, so it was sort of a shock. Anyway, so if it would help to increase engagement by basically getting people in the door physically here so they all can see each other and, and hear each other's voice in person and get their canes mixed together and stuff like that. I would wonder if we could just basically pay people for showing up. So I was going to make a proposal here, or just maybe it's a foundation for discussion. So let's create a travel benefit intended to encourage attendance in person at chapter business meetings and to defray the cost of travel. And the benefit would be paid to any blind or visually impaired person who attends the chapter meeting in person, regardless of membership status. And then I'm saying the benefit shall be $10 a meeting in this proposal. And the benefit will begin at the June 10th chapter meeting. So putting that proposal on the floor.
Anyone wants to discuss the proposal that Lee has?
Madam Chairman, person?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Whichever, are you a chairman or a chairperson? Whatever you are. I just want to, I understand where Lee's coming from, and I have heard a few other people say the same kind of thing, that we paid people to show up. The idea was to reimburse people, since many of our members are on fixed incomes, for paying for transportation to get to and from a meeting. It does add up if you're using Mainstream, and now if you're using USERV, And, you know, not everybody can afford to do it just for the heck of it. So it wasn't to pay people for showing up. It was to reimburse people for their transportation costs.
Yeah.
I just wanted to throw that out there because it always kind of bothered me when people said, oh, they're paying us to show up. That's not the idea.
Okay, it's a reimbursement.
And then we have some Zoom participants as well. And again, I may have overlooked you and I apologize, but Mary Lynn will be first.
Okay, I agree with the idea of reimbursement to help cover transportation. I think it should go to people who drive because it's not free to drive. You have upkeep, you have gasoline. The point is to help reimburse for the transportation. One change I think we need to make, it is per vehicle. If two people come and drive in a car, it should be one benefit for that vehicle,
My God.
not per person. And of course, if you're at mainstream, if there's two on the vehicle, that's a little different because each one pays. So that is my thought. I think it should go to all attendees, drivers or bus, because driving a car is not free. Far from it.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, Ed seems to like that idea. He's kind of off the mic because he's next to me and my microphone sort of picks him up. So I'm going to relay.
Yeah, I
Unless you want
heard
me
a little bit of what he said.
Yeah, unless you want me to hand the mic directly to you, but okay. On Zoom, and I see Vicky, was your hand raised from before and I just didn't see it? Or did you have something else?
No, I just lowered it. I
Okay.
can't tell if you lower it or not. And I
Okay.
can't just, I'm looking
Well,
around. I
Zoom
can't
used
find a
to-
place that says it is.
Yeah,
It used to
Zoom
tell
used to
you.
do it. It's not really even telling me when the hands come up, and so I'm
Yeah, okay,
having a
sorry.
little trouble.
It's gone.
Okay, so in Zoom we have Shirley and Lynn Roberts.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I guess my question kind of goes along with what Mary Lynn was talking about. Maybe you guys have already figured this out, but it becomes a little more complicated, obviously, with having hybrid meetings. And of course, you know, you check everybody in. Is somebody going to keep track each month of, you know, what people are actually physically coming to the meetings and which ones are on Zoom? So, you know, you add up, you know, which ones, you know, how many each person actually came to in person. I mean, that's something that would have to be considered if you're going to do this.
Yes, that's the
Obviously.
reason we don't have a travel benefit as of right now, is because in January, I couldn't figure out how on earth we were going to administer this and stay within IRS guidelines. Because our Columbus chapter serves blind and visually impaired people of Central Ohio. That's what our mission is supposed to be. And the previous travel benefit violated those terms because it was only chapter members. And that's something we have to avoid. The other thing is if you like have a committee counting people and counting cars and stuff like that, that's going to be a pain for people to do. And
Well, that's why I'm wondering before you guys agree to set this up, it sounds like it may be a little bit more of a hassle than, you know, what you realized going into it.
well, that's
It really
the deal.
shouldn't be because we always divide up the roll call between Zoom and, excuse me, people in person.
Yeah,
So
people sign in at
the secretary or whoever's keeping track of
Check
all
of
of that.
attendance, correct.
You
Correct.
just,
Yeah,
you
Yeah,
just
that's-
indicate it or put it in two different groups.
correct.
Not that.
Yeah, that's the part that's easy. The part that where administration might become a pain would be like, well, two people came in this car and
Yeah,
that
that
that's-
seems
that's-
like a
that's-
little more than.
yeah, you see, you need to have a simple system to do this. Because the other IRS rule that gets involved with this is you can't have something called private inurement, which means that somebody who makes the decision can't be paid. So if you had like 3 committee members who somehow have a system where they decide this, none of those 3 people can ever be reimbursed. So we need a simple system to do this.
Enough papers.
Melody's hand is raised in Zoom.
I have a few things and I don't know if I can get it out cognitively. I definitely agree with the whole transportation benefit because we need to minimize isolation. How are we going to publicize? Are we going to put on the chapter and even state websites for anyone to see that is not a member, because it can help member status increase and minimize social isolation because of affordability of transportation that'll get us. How are we going to divvy up the benefit? Are we going to do each meeting every 4, and also how the IRS compliance, how are we going to, people who are not visually impaired who are driving themselves probably should not be reimbursed. Of course, it's not free. Of course, we'll have to handle it. But if someone is someone's driver and they're not using any form of public transportation, can they be? Because it's someone who's visually impaired. Thank you.
So perhaps we could have.
I'm visually impaired.
You're coming through.
No, just me.
So maybe we would have like 1 or 2, about 3 volunteers get together and agree to work on this between this meeting and the next meeting.
Would anybody like to volunteer? Because I'll be one person.
Mary Lynn has expressed that she would like to volunteer.
And I'm going to be a part of it as well. You know, if I wasn't I'll say this, if I wasn't wasn't the chapter president, I would probably never be able to come into the meetings because of cost for transportation. I haven't been able to budget to get to one myself, and I would like to come to one. Can't afford to go.
But wait a minute, now if Janae is going to be volunteering on the committee, she can't be a recipient of transportation if she's looking forward to being able to come in person because it's more affordable with the support of the benefit.
I want to clarify what I meant. I meant that the committee, this committee is to brainstorm what the form of the benefit would be. It's not to decide who gets it. And then next meeting we can.
Okay, to brainstorm, to come up with some solutions. Is that what you're saying, Lee?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was not clear about that.
Audio now unmuted.
You heard that? Okay, I'll volunteer. I was hoping somebody else would raise their hand.
Patrick's hand is raised in Zoom.
Oh, and Ed.
Can you hear me?
Yes, you can.
I forgot to tab over to this session is being recorded. That's why you can hear me earlier. Why not just, we know we have meetings each month. Why can't we do some type of email to let those know we're coming in, may it be through mainstream or through a vehicle, and keep track that way?
Well, we do need to be careful because not everybody has email. So we do need to be mindful of that.
Well, that's one way. And then if they call in.
No, I mean, if
we're
we're
tracking.
No, I just mean if we're trying to let people know how the benefit works, and we only do that by email, we are unintentionally.
No. I'm proposing in terms of, like, say, I haven't made it in yet, but if I come in and I wanted to get reimbursed, then I would email to let you know I'm gonna come in person. And then that way, that be a form of keeping track of who needs to be reimbursed.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Hi, it's Erwin. That just adds an extra layer of difficulty because the meeting minutes are going to have to reflect who is actually there, I think.
Yeah.
That is how Larry used to do it, I know.
Yes, he kept track on a spreadsheet of check boxes.
And based on the minutes, is that what?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so you were expected to look at the minutes and make sure your name was there. And if it wasn't, then you needed to let Larry know.
Yeah, I have a comment. To me, simple is better. I would just $10 for everybody that comes to the meeting. And I would make it as simple as I could. Thanks.
Well, we can, like I said, we can get together with a committee and discuss it. And
Janae, shall I take?
Well, that's okay.
Janae, shall I send out an email to this effect like tomorrow?
yes, please. Yes, please, because it's 2:00 and want to just, give a couple quick reminders so that Denise can introduce our speaker.
May I make one other possible thing here?
Sure.
The national convention's coming up, and in the past, we have supported our members going to, or people going to the national convention by paying their, I'll call it the administration fee, but it's the fee you have to pay, which used to be $35. And they would be reimbursed when they submitted proof of payment to the treasurer. So I would like to make a motion that we do that again, that the Columbus chapter will pay the administration fee to the ACB National Convention of any blind or visually impaired resident of Central Ohio who registers to attend the ACB National Convention on submission of proof of registration to the treasurer.
Does someone like to second that motion?
I'll second that, Erwin.
Let's
Lee, are you
Let's
are you
clarify
including Zoom and in person, or just in person for the national?
It would be both.
Okay.
Yeah, because
sorry,
there's one price you have to pay no matter which way you're doing it. And Janet can tell us more about that. But yeah, I
have a question regarding this.
Go ahead.
May I ask it now?
Yes, you
Lee
can.
said any blind, or somebody said any blind or visually impaired person. If you're sighted and you're a member, why would you not be eligible for that as well if you register?
Well, that has to do with IRS guidelines. I mean, we support the constitution of the chapter constrains us to promote the welfare and to the benefit of visually impaired and blind people living in the Central Ohio area. Other people can join.
That's really odd.
I mean,
I've never
joined,
seen that as a
and I'm not
prerequisite
blind.
before, and I know other chapters do pay for both as long as you're a member. So I've never seen that restriction before. When we've done it.
It'll go sure.
But if that was the case, why should I be a member?
True.
There's probably no real problem as long as we go make sure it's mostly blind and visually impaired people.
I mean, I think if we're allowing, a small percentage of people who are members who are not blind, but they're sighted, I mean, we want the support of people anyway. We have people who may want to be volunteers, but they're a member and they're sighted. So
That can get pretty complicated though.
Okay, so
we'll table that for the next meeting because it's past 2.
It is past 2, but I did request an agenda item to be discussed before we end, and I apologize, Janet, for being late.
And that is the CPR class.
That is correct.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to propose that those attending the CPR class receive financial support from the chapter that the chapter support the event. I don't have the exact price, but I can say right now we have 14 registrants. We have 4 sighted people, which will help I think, people learning the material, and then 10 people that are blind or visually impaired who signed up. So I would like to propose that the chapter fund that project. And I'm wondering if there's any feedback about that.
I second the motion. Tucker,
Okay, the motion has been approved.
I think we.
Thank you for making it so simple, everyone.
I'm agree. Lee said that this one probably should be voted upon.
Oh, thanks, Sean.
So Janae, do you want to lead that?
Yes, so all those in favor of the chapter paying for the CPR class, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The motion has been approved.
Okay, and the last thing I'll say about it is on the same day as our Saturday meeting. So those who are in attendance, you would be a little late or just on time, probably, if you were to do both.
What day is the event again? So we know.
August 12th. And if anybody wants to, in case there are cancellations, if anybody wants to be on the cancellation list, just leave a message on the phone line, information line, and I'll check that, or send me an email.
Thank you so much, Denise.
All right, sure.
Okay, going back to the convention, if we alter the motion to include chapter members as well as blind and visually impaired residents of Central Ohio, I would accept that.
Okay.
I would like to make an amendment that the motion include chapter members.
Okay.
Any chapter member who is registering for the convention.
I'll second that amendment. Can we have everyone take a vote, and everybody in favor say aye?
Aye.
Any nays? Okay, that motion has been approved. Okay, if there's no other items we need to cover, I would like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Mary Carabina seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
nays? Meeting adjourned.
All right. Janet, are you still with us? Did we put you to sleep?
No,
Oh,
you did not.
fantastic.
It was kind of interesting because I'm our chapter president in Minnesota, and we're working on a CPR class. We're doing a couple of the things, talking about our summer picnic. So it was like being in my own meeting.
Well, I'm glad it's that cozy already. I'm just going to say, without any formal terms, that Janet Dickelman has been the guru, shall I say, for the national convention many years. And if I wanted to know
2012.
something, I would look for Janet. So Janet, could you just tell us a little bit of history? You just said 2012. I mean, gosh, what's that like to have been involved for that long, and what's coming up in this one?
Well, I as to what it's like to have been involved with that for so long, it's hard to remember a time when I wasn't the convention coordinator for ACB, and I had retired from working for the federal government, and I was kind of worried if, what I was going to do with my free time. And then I was asked to be convention coordinator for ACB, and I discovered that I was working as a volunteer way many more hours as I did as my supervisory job at Social Security Administration. So, be careful what you wish for. But I enjoy doing it very much, and I have a great team that assists me, and it's wonderful to see it all come together. So I have a couple questions before we get started, and I know you're in Zoom, so I don't know. What I'd like to kind of get the feel from the room is, are there people who have never attended a national convention here?
Are you talking about attending in person or
Physically or Zoom? Let's say never been involved with a national convention.
No, either way. Okay.
Yes.
There are a few. Okay, very
Fine,
good.
yeah.
All right. Are you planning on joining us virtually or in person this year? Nothing like putting you on the spot.
Mary nods her head, yes.
Good. All right.
And of
Wonderful.
course, the president hasn't been either, and she's going to the convention.
Are you coming in person?
Yes, I am.
Yay. All right. That's wonderful. All right. Well, let me just give a little general information then. And then what I'd really kind of like to do, and we have till 4 p.m. your time or 3 p.m. your time. Is that correct?
3 p.m. Eastern. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'll give a little information and then I'd like to just open it up to questions and hear what you want to know about the convention rather than me just sitting here talking for, almost an hour because nobody wants to hear that. Convention registration, and I'm glad you brought up the registration fee. Registration does open on May 18th. So that is this Thursday. Every time that I give you, because the convention is in the Chicago area, we are working in Central Time this year. So sorry, all of you people from Columbus, you're going to have to convert the time. Normally it's me having to convert time to Eastern Time, but this year you guys get to. So registration starts at 7 p.m. Central Time. So you don't have to get up quite so early to register, but I really encourage those of you who are coming to the convention, especially if you want to attend any of our tours, because as you may or may not know, ACB offers a lot of in-person tours during the convention and they fill up very quickly. So I would certainly recommend that you try to register in the first couple days, preferably that first day if you possibly can. To register, you need to have a member account with ACB. If you've attended a holiday or summer auction with ACB, if you have attended a convention in the past couple of years, either in person or virtually, you have your member number. So if you have a member number and do not know your login information, you can go in and get a password reset with your email address if you know your username. If you don't know anything about your member account, please reach out to me before registration opens and I'll look it up for you, because I don't want you to be delayed because you can't get into the registration site. Same thing if you haven't attended a convention and you don't have a member account, you can go into members.acb.org and create an account. If you need assistance creating an account, again, you may call me and I'll be happy to help you, or anyone can set up an account for you if you would like to do that. It just requires a username and a password. The username and password don't even have to be anything complex. They don't need a symbol, don't need a number. You can put as much into them as you want, but I always tell people make it very simple. If you are unsure if you have a member account, please don't set up one because that's just going to complicate things. So if you don't know, reach out and I'll look them up for you. And I'd really like, especially if you're setting up a member account, you really need to do that before registration opens, a couple of days before registration opens, because it takes a day for the account to authenticate. So if you set it up on May 17th, it may not be ready for you to register on the 18th, if that makes sense. As we talked about, registration is $35. So you were correct on that. And that is whether you want to attend the convention virtually or in person. That is our administrative fee. That is all you have to pay as a virtual attendee, unless, and this goes for anyone, you can be a convention sponsor of ACB, anywhere from $500 to $25. And we love all those sponsors. And you get your name read out in the convention and your name in the convention newspaper. You can also help support any of the special interest affiliates that ACB has with their convention costs on the registration form. You can request to get the convention newspaper sent to you as a support for the students, ACB students. And if you're in person, you can have the newspaper delivered right to your meeting room door in either Braille or large print, which is a very cool thing to open your door and have that newspaper laying right out there. You can also request a program in any format that you would like. We have it in email, we have it in large print, we have it in Braille. NLS cartridge, or you can download it from our website. And if you are a virtual attendee, if you request the program in either Braille or large print, it will be sent to your home in time for the convention. So if you are a virtual attendee and want the program in Braille or large print, we do ask that you do your registration before May 31st so that we have ample time to have the program UPS to you. Those of you who are attending in person will get the program when you arrive in Schaumburg and pick up your registration badge. So for those of you in person, the $35 administrative fee, well, for anyone, gets you all the Zoom links for any Zoom sessions. And we're starting out at the end of June with several days of virtual only sessions, which I'll get into in a minute. And then you, when you attend the convention in person, that $35 gets you into our general sessions, gets you into the exhibit hall. Many of our special interest and affiliates and committees have sessions that have no cost. The only additional cost to you as far as attending things at the convention would be our tours, and then any of our functions that have a breakfast and or lunch function or a reception that has food. Those all have a cost, so you would need to sign up for those. You can now go in to browse the convention sessions if you'd like. You can go to acbconvention.org, and there is a link that says browse sessions, and you'll see every session that we're having throughout the convention. And we have, as I mentioned, some Zoom only sessions during our Zoom days of the convention. And then during the convention, we have our hybrid sessions, which are going to be in person and also available via Zoom. And then we also have in-person only sessions. Now, we can't have all of our sessions as hybrid, meaning that they're available via Zoom. We tried to do 4 concurrent sessions last year, but having the rooms set up for everything that you need for that is very, very expensive. So we are having 2 concurrent hybrid sessions, but our other in-person sessions, other than mixers, are going to be recorded. They will be available as podcasts, and then they will most likely be aired on ACB Media at some point. So I'm going to stop here and see if we have any questions about registration, first of all.
I have a question. When you
Yes.
talked about something, when you talked about the special interest affiliates, when you make contributions to them, are you actually
That is
joining
not,
those
no,
affiliates,
that
or
is
you
not,
just-
that's a very good point. That is
just a donation to
a
them?
donation to the affiliate. That is not
Okay.
membership.
Thank you.
Now, if on the registration form, it does ask, do we have your permission to give out your name to any affiliate if they request it? So if you say yes to that, if you help support an affiliate, they may reach out to you and say, hey, thank you for supporting. Are you interested in membership? But that is not membership, and that does not mean that you have to join the affiliate. Anything else out there?
Yes.
Okay.
Mike is running to.
Oh, Mike is running the mic.
Will voting be in the room this year?
Voting will be both in the room and virtual. Let's talk about, let me see if there's any other questions about registration. And then is that you, Mary Lynn? I'll get to your voting
Yes, it's
question
me.
in a minute.
What phone number should people call if they want to find out whether they have a member account, whether they're a member?
Well, that would be me. And my phone number, and I'll give my phone number at the end also, but I'll give it to you now. And it is 651-428-5059. And
Mary, I will share. I have Janet in my phone, and to make
Oh,
your life
boy.
easier, I will just share her contact card with you. So all you'll have to do is just press that button. I'll do that right now while I'm thinking about it. Actually, I'll do it at the end.
I learned how to do that the other day. Somebody sent me a contact card. I was so impressed with myself.
Well, and it's even more exciting because now when you share, especially if you're sharing your own card with someone, you can choose which fields you want to be excluded. So if you don't want someone to have your address, you can turn that off before you share.
Now, let me just say, I don't know how to create a contact card, but I knew how to add someone's contact card to my contacts. People laugh at me because I am not technological when it comes to my iPhone. So, and if you have a question, you can also text me, but please keep in mind, if you send me a text and you're not in my phone, all I'm going to get is message from, and it'll give me the area code. So I will have no idea who you are. And if you give me information that you want me to keep a copy of, or I need to look something up, that really, I can't do that as easily with a text. So if you want to text me and say, hey, is it all right if I call you, or are you busy now, or could you call me and look up and see if I have a number? I'm happy to do that via text or telephone. But if you want to give me a bunch of information, I'd rather have that as a telephone or as an email. And my email address, which I'm sure I know that you have also, Sean, is my name. So it's Janet, Janet Dickelman, Dickelman @gmail.com. And if you're on my convention email list, where you get the convention previews, now I'm sending one out every day, my contact information is at the bottom of every email. And if you're not getting the convention email announcements and would like to get on that email list, it's really a good way to keep up with what's going on with the convention. And it is an announce only list. So you're not going to get people responding to my emails. You're just going to see emails from me. And to do that, you can send a blank email to ACB Convention +subscribe at acblists.org. So it's ACB Convention +subscribe at acblists.org. And maybe Sean can put that out, or Denise, or someone can put, or Janae, someone can put that out on your list.
Yes, we will make sure it gets put out.
Okay, so that if anyone wants to sign up for the convention related emails. Any other questions, or I will talk a bit about voting.
Yes, but it's maybe could hold the question till later. It's like the sessions that are not available by Zoom, they'll be available as podcasts, but
they will.
How long will that take? I mean, when will those become available?
Well, I cannot speak for how quickly ACB Media will be able to get them out, because I know it is kind of a lengthy process. We're hoping that we have enough support to get them out more quickly than we did last year.
Yeah,
I'm hoping that they will be out by the end of August. I know that sounds like a lot of time, but there is a lot of work putting the sessions into podcasts and kind of cleaning them up and getting them ready. I have no idea how they do it, but from what I hear, I know it's a lot of work. So we will get them out as quickly as possible. There was also some comment that with the support that we're going to have this year with ACB Media, we may be able to get some of the things, especially the general sessions will be on ACB Media. There will be quite a few other things on ACB Media. Also, most of the hybrid sessions will be on ACB Media. And some of the in-person sessions, we're hoping that we might be able to broadcast them on ACB Media also shortly after the convention is over.
Thanks.
Hey, Janet,
Yes.
Do you mind sharing with those who have never been to the convention a little bit about the scholarship that ACB offers, just so they can kind of know about those if they've never heard about those?
All right. Now the deadlines, of course, are closed for those.
Right, but For this
Um,
first year, so they kind of have an idea if they haven't heard before.
Yes, ACB offers several different things. We have scholarships for students who are anywhere from incoming college freshmen to people in graduate school. We also have 2 scholarships that we offer called the Durwood K. McDaniel Scholarship. And Durwood was one of our founding fathers of ACB. And that is a scholarship that is given to 2 individuals each year, one person who lives east of the Mississippi and one person west. And they have to apply, you have to apply for the scholarship, have a letter from your affiliate or chapter president recommending you. We also have JP Morgan Chase gives us funding for their JP Morgan Chase Leadership Fellows, and we have 5 leadership fellows each year, and those are for emerging leaders, basically the same thing. You would need to do an application for those, and those are, the applications for those are usually due by the beginning of April. I think they're due on April 1st or the end of March. And then the decision is made by the end of April, beginning of May on those. So those are great opportunities for any of you who would like to be in a leadership position, or especially for someone who's never attended a convention in the past. And for those scholarships, your transportation and lodging are all covered by ACB and the scholarship recipient. So thank you for bringing that up.
I brought that up because I'm a recipient of one of those this year.
Are you? Wait, oh yes.
The DKM.
Yes, of course. You know, it didn't, okay, I didn't even make the connection. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm
But
like,
you know, I want people to know, because they're
yes,
good scholarship awards and great opportunity if you are wanting to be in that leadership role or showcase what work you've done for ACB and how you've helped the mission and vision of ACB.
yes, and you are a great recipient. And I knew you were from Columbus. My mind has just been so crazy, it didn't even make the connection.
It's okay, no problem.
Because I pronounce, your name is actually pronounced Janae.
Yes, correct.
Okay, because I've been pronouncing it Jania
in
my mind. Or
It's
Janie, I
okay.
thought that's how it was pronounced. So Janae, all right, now I've
That's
got
how
you.
Jaws says it. So of course.
Yeah,
it's correct.
I know. Well, I
Right.
pronounce, yeah, so
Yes.
Janae, all right.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, that's, yes, very exciting that you're going to be there. Let
Janet,
me,
I have a question.
yes,
So, for people who are attending virtually, are we still going to get the email each day that has the
all the Zoom links,
Zoom links and session times?
you are. And
Okay.
everyone who registers for the convention, whether you are in person or whether you are virtual, you will get
Everyone.
all the Zoom links.
Okay. Reason I ask is because there are parts of my workday where I have downtime and have permission to do things like listen to a podcast or attend a convention.
Yay.
So I may
So
be able to
yes,
catch some of them during the slower parts of my work
Yes.
after the chaos happens.
and
No.
as I said, at any given time during the in-person part of the convention, we have at least we have 2 hybrid sessions going on concurrently. And then we do have some sessions even during the in-person part of the convention where the groups have opted to do a Zoom only session. So even if you're in Schaumburg, you would be attending the session by Zoom, which is kind of cool because if you want to get together with a group of friends in person and sit in the restaurant or go to, we have what we call our ACB Cafe, where we have we work through the hotel and it's a cash and carry, and you can buy things like sandwiches and salads and breakfast pastries. And then we have tables where you can sit outside the cafe and you can, sit with a group of people or, just go to your room and take your shoes off and listen to a session via Zoom. And of course you can listen to them virtually also. Let me answer Marilyn's question about voting. So this year, ACB has all 5 of our officer positions are up for election. So that is president, first and second vice president, treasurer, and secretary. Everyone who is a member of ACB is eligible to vote. This is one thing that you do not have to be registered for the convention to do. You just have to be a member. And everyone will receive, I believe it's coming out in the middle of June, you will receive a voter ID code. And those of you who were members the last 2 years remember getting these, and it will come to you via email, and it will give you, everyone has their own unique voter ID code. So you need to hang on to that email. And then when we have our elections, you can vote. And the way that you can vote is on your computer, or you can vote via telephone and push 1 for Donald Duck and 2 for, enter your code in, and then push 1 for Donald Duck, 2 for Mickey, however you want to cast your vote. Or you can also call in and speak with a live representative who will ask you for your ID number and then take your voter selection from you. So there's lots of ways to vote. What we are going to do, we have our opening general session Saturday evening, and at the end of the general session, we will open elections, and we will go through the slate of candidates, and we will say, is there anyone interested in running for president from the floor, in addition to the candidates slated to run for the president? If there is no opposition for that office, we will go on to the next office. So depending where we have an election that would have more than one person vying for that office, we will then open up the voting. And this is Saturday night, so the individual voting would occur Sunday afternoon from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. And then Monday morning, we would have our affiliate roll call, which, as you know, you have a delegate from Ohio who will represent your membership, and during the affiliate roll call, when called upon, will cast your number of votes to whichever candidate you wish to support. Or if there are 2 candidates, and some of you who have reached out to the delegate want Donald Duck, and some of you want Mickey Mouse, then the delegate will tally those up and break up your block of votes depending on the numbers of people who are interested in giving their feedback. And then if we have another contested election, the same thing would happen. Monday afternoon would be the voting, and Tuesday morning would be the affiliate roll call. The other thing that we have this year is our bylaws and our constitutional amendments. You've probably been seeing that we've been having a lot of discussion on bylaws already. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, we have open Zoom calls that anyone can attend, where they're going to talk about all the, where they're talking about each of the bylaws or resolutions. I'm sorry. That's what we're doing right now, the resolutions. Then starting on Tuesday, June 20th, we are going to have, for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings, the 20th, 21st, and 22nd, we are going to have a Zoom call on the various resolutions or bylaws. We will then resolutions. I'm sorry, why am I calling them bylaws? Resolutions. We will go through each resolution, and we will ask if there is any opposition to that resolution. Depending on the hand raising during that time, if the resolution does not have a clear majority and has to go to a vote, the voting for that would be Wednesday afternoon, July 5th, and the affiliate roll call would be Thursday morning, July 6th. I know that's a lot of information. And at that point, we would also then vote for any constitutional and bylaw amendments that might be pending. So that ballot could have a lot of potential votes that you would need to cast. And that is basically, we had, after last year's convention, we had we did the survey about the convention. We had several calls about the convention that were open to anyone. And it was basically decided last year, we did all the resolutions and bylaws after the close of the in-person convention, and people really didn't want to have to come home and do that. So that's why we're doing them prior to the beginning of the convention. And actually, we're going to, quote, gavel the convention to order on Monday, June 19th. And we're doing that via Zoom in order for our special interest affiliates and our committees to have their business meetings during the 3 Zoom days, the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th of June. And also during those Zoom days, we have a lot of sessions. I'm not even going to try to mention them because they're all listed on our website. And if I start talking about 3 or 4 sessions, I'm going to miss, 40, and then people are going to be mad at me for not featuring their session. So, but you're certainly welcome to go browse all of those sessions because they're all available to take a peek at. The exhibit hall this year, we're doing something a little different. We will have on Wednesday, June 21st, we will have a Zoom only, we call it our exhibitors open house, where any of our exhibitors are welcome to come and speak to everyone via Zoom, and you'll get the link for that. And you can hear what all the exhibitors have to say, what's going on at their exhibit hall, learn about the specials that they might have. And then Thursday and Friday of that week, we are offering for our exhibitors, if they would like to set up individual Zoom rooms so people can go in and talk to them who are either not going to be at the convention or maybe are going to be at the convention but want to ask a particular exhibitor if they would bring a certain item or whatever that they want at the convention. And we will publicize that information also. Do we have a question?
Shirley and Lynn have their hand raised in Zoom, and I was just waiting for a pause to.
Okay, well, we can, I'll pause. I heard somebody in the back speaking in the background, so I thought I'd
Yeah,
stop.
that was not me though.
Okay.
Anyway, I just wanted to clarify with you, when you talked about all the convention stuff, of course, being on Central Time. So the times listed right now, even like for the prior Zoom things and everything that starts, like, I think you said on the 14th or the 19th.
They're all Central Time.
That's all Central.
Yes, it
Okay.
is.
And the registration starts this Thursday. It's at 7 a.m., isn't it?
7 a.m. Central Time, so 8 a.m. your time, and it runs
very
through
good.
11:59 p.m. Central Time on June 16th.
Okay, thank you so much.
And I should mention that if you are not a member of ACB, or, and of course you're all members of ACB by being members of the Columbus chapter, registration does not open for those individuals until May 25th. And there is a charge of $50 instead of $35. So if you wish to perhaps bring someone to the convention with you and you want them to attend some of the functions with you, it would be to your benefit to either, I would say, of course, they can join your chapter, or they can become a member at large of ACB for $10, and then they can register on May 18th. So they basically save $5 and get to be a member. So it's a win-win situation for everyone. I was talking a little bit about the exhibit hall. The in-person exhibit hall will open on Saturday, July 1st at 1 p.m. And then on Sunday, we're doing something a little different. We were requested by some of the exhibitors at the end of last year's convention. We were asked why we didn't have an evening exhibit hall hours, and we thought that was such a good idea. So Sunday, the exhibit hall is open from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. So that's something very new. And then Monday and Tuesday, it will be open from 11 to 5. and Wednesday from 9 until 1. And that is our exhibit hall. And all of our exhibitors are encouraged to supply a recording of up to 10 minutes. And all of those recordings will be put together in a loop, and we will send out a schedule saying in hour 1, we have exhibitor A, B, C, D, E, and in hour 2, JKLMN. And so normally the loop runs every 6 hours, so you can figure out when your exhibitors are going to, and make sure you listen to the recording of your favorite exhibitors or all of the exhibitors, and that will be on ACB Media. I do not know which channel yet. That'll be confirmed and sent out as soon as we have that information for sure. We also, as we have done the last couple of years, have an audio described tour channel on ACB Media, where we have many tours that were audio described through the National Park Service, and we will be playing those, and we will have a schedule for those also. Let me just talk briefly about the hotel, the Renaissance. If you have not made your reservations, please do so right away. The cutoff date for us to make reservations is June 8th. Right now, our room rate is $98 a night. After that cutoff date, they can't guarantee that we'll get the convention rate. It could be substantially higher, so you definitely want to make your room reservation now. You can make it online. There is a link at the bottom of all of my emails, or you can call the hotel, and that phone number is on my emails also. But just, I'll give that out, and that is 800-468-3571. Now, when making your reservations, please keep in mind, this is a central reservations number, so you're not reaching the hotel directly. So you need to make sure that you tell them that you're with the Renaissance Schaumburg there's only one in Schaumburg, but it's, Schaumburg, Illinois. It's on Thoreau Drive, if you need to know that. And make sure you reference that you're with the ACB convention, and they will get your reservation made for you. All of the hotel rooms have refrigerators. There are microwaves on each floor in the area where they have the vending machines and ice machines. The rooms have coffee makers. Sorry, they are not Keurig, for those many of you who have asked me that question. But I understand they make good coffee. The hotel has a restaurant, which, as of last I knew, they do have a breakfast buffet, and then they also have, sit down regular breakfast, lunch and dinner. There is also a bar that serves bar food at the hotel. And then there is the Starbucks venue that has, of course, coffees and teas and all the Starbucks products, but lots of salads and sandwiches and breakfast sandwiches and pastries and that kind of thing, and the ACB Cafe. So there's quite a few choices in the hotel. There is not a lot within walking distance of the hotel. However, just a quick Uber or Lyft or cab right away is Woodfield Mall, and that has any kind of dining option that you might be interested in, from nice sit-down restaurants to in fact, I know you guys were talking about Cheesecake Factory. I know there's a Cheesecake Factory there, and to any kind of fast food that you might want. The best airport to fly into is O'Hare. You can fly into Midway, but that is quite a distance from the hotel, so I would certainly recommend you go to O'Hare. If you would like assistance, you will email, and I've sent this out, and I can send it out again, or I'm sure Sean or Denise have it, how to request assistance at the airport, you would reach out to our accessibility person, Margarine Beeman, with your flight information, and she will make sure that someone is at the gate to assist you and get you down to ground transportation. There is not a shuttle from the hotel. You know, airport shuttles and things of that nature are kind of a thing of the past now, unfortunately. But there are things like Lyft and Uber, and in taking a regular cab, you need to be very aware of one thing, and people assisting will know this, but you want to be aware of this also. Make sure that you take a suburban cab. Do not take a Chicago cab. Because if a Chicago cab goes into the suburbs, then they will charge you exorbitantly higher rates. So make sure you get a suburban, a taxi that is not just a city of Chicago cab. Do I have any questions? And then if I have a minute, I'll talk a little bit about some of our tours.
Hey, I do not have any questions in Zoom.
All right.
There's none in the room.
All
either.
right. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about our in-person tours. And starting on Friday, July 1st, June 30th, I'm sorry, I'm getting my day. And I'm not going to go through times or prices because all this information is listed on our website. But on Friday, June 30th, we are going to the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago, where we'll get to go down into the coal mine and see a lot of the exhibits, and have lunch there. We will also be doing we're calling it our detective dinner that evening, and you can do both tours because they are consecutive. They're not concurrent. Where you'll have a great dinner, and we have it set up just for our group, where it's a play, and you'll learn who did what to whom and follow the clues. On Sunday, you have the opportunity to go tubing down a river. Everyone will be connected, so it's very safe. Also, the Museum of History in Chicago that afternoon. On Monday, we are going to the Mexican American Art Museum, and that tour will include a served buffet from a local Mexican restaurant and lots of description of the art that they have there. And on Monday, we are also we're calling it our Gangster and Pizza Tour, where we're going to 3 different venues in the city for Chicago style pizza. Tuesday, we are going wine tasting to 2 wineries, and that evening to a White Sox game. You cannot do both of those tours because of timing, unfortunately. Wednesday, you have the opportunity to go to, we always have a candy tour, and this year is no exception, where you'll get some samples, learn about candy making, get to do some candy buying. And then we are also going to Horizons for the Blind, which many of you may be familiar with. They do have a lot of embossing of utility bills and menus. You'll get to see how they do things. And it's very interesting because everything in that building is labeled in large print and braille. Plus they have a huge store that has any kind of braille or gadget. It's pretty phenomenal. On Thursday, we are going to Goodman Theater for a performance of the play Tommy, and we will also have a tour behind the scenes with the actors and actresses. On Friday, we are going to the Place de la Musique, which is a phenomenal place with all kinds of music boxes, calliopes, a carousel, pipe organs, and then they have train cars that you can actually go into and walk around. They've got old dining cars and retro sleeping cars, so you can get a feel of what that was like. And that evening, the culmination of the convention will be a Lake Michigan dinner cruise. So those are our in-person tours. I know that they will fill up fast. So if you want to get one of these tours, I would say if possible, if you can't register yourself online, you might want to ask a friend or family member to help you so that you can get in and get the tours. I don't want you to be waiting for someone to call you back to take your registration and miss out on a tour. So I would really encourage, if you have another way of doing it rather than calling and getting into registration queue, that you do that. And that is convention in a very quick overview. Let's see if we have any questions.
Okay, no Zoom questions that I can see. None in the room. Okay.
I know I've been talking a lot, and I know I've sent out a lot of information, so I'm glad, to see that you're, and I hope we get a good showing for the convention. Oh, Thursday evening, our banquet speaker is a gentleman named Louis Sharp. He is local to the area, and he is a motivational leadership speaker and very, very interesting. I know you might think, oh, that sounds kind of boring after a week of sitting through speeches, but he is a very, very interesting speaker, and I wouldn't want to miss him.
Oh, do we have a talking book narrator this year?
We do. We do. Why am I blanking on his name? Oh, Jake Williams.
Oh, cool. Okay. I have a friend who's going to be very excited about that.
Yeah, he's very nice. He's from Books and Beyond from Denver. We also have our international guest, Martine Abel Williamson from New Zealand, who is the president of the World Blind Union.
He was neat.
And then we have so many sessions that are put on by our business partners. We have Humanware is doing 2 sessions in Schaumburg. Microsoft is doing 2 sessions via in the Zoom days. Amazon is doing a session in Schaumburg that's going to be hybrid. HIMSS and APH are doing in-person sessions, which you'll get to hear down the road if you're not able to be in Schaumburg. IRA is doing a session. We've got a lot of great sessions. Our Friends in Art is doing the Showcase of the Performing Arts, and they're doing 2 showcases. The first one is Saturday evening, June 24th, and that will be Zoom only. And then they are doing a showcase in person only in Schaumburg on July 3rd. So lots of opportunity to hear some great performances and readings and, just a whole variety of things that our Friends in Art group does. We have a lot of technology sessions. We have several breakfasts and lunches. American Foundation for the Blind is doing their annual breakfast during the convention. And then several of our affiliates have breakfasts. We have, as I said, lots of luncheons. So there's just so many things to do. And for those of you who've never attended a convention in the past, like Janae, it can be, it's a lot. So look over the schedule very thoroughly. Don't commit yourself too much. I mean, there's not too many sessions that you have to pay for. So for the sessions that do not have a cost, you can always decide last minute if you want to attend or don't. And to me, one of the greatest things about being at the convention is just the networking and getting to know people. You find that you're standing on a line waiting for the elevator and you start talking to people. And you may run into somebody who you knew 25 years ago. It's happened to me. So that's, really, really fun. So it's a great opportunity, whether you join in person or virtually. We're really happy to have you. Do you want me to give my contact information again, or do you have that?
It wouldn't hurt to give it again.
Okay. All right.
One more time.
So, all right, everybody get ready. If you want to find out to establish your member number, go to members.acb.org. To browse and register for the convention, it's acbconvention.org.
Okay.
to
That's an on demand and it's not scheduled till 3, so I'll be out as soon as.
what?
No, it's just a transportation.
Oh, okay, sorry. If you'd like to reach me directly, don't do it right now because I've got my phone turned off, but my phone number is 651-428-5059. And my email address is my name, Janet, Janet .Dickelman, DICKELMAN @gmail.com. And I'm very happy to help you at any point. If you do not know about your member number, I can verify your username. I cannot look up your password, but I can reset it for you. And I really appreciate you having me here. Thank you very much. I always love talking about the convention, and I know several of you, especially Vicky, our information desk guru. So
You roped her into it again for one more year.
I
didn't
did. I did.
Janet, can you
Magic
give the
in doing
Renaissance
that.
number one more time?
Yes. She says, as she's looking it up quickly because she closed out her file, the Renaissance, come on. Maybe I can.
It's
It
800.
is 800. No, I know I've got it. 800-468-3571. So it's 800-468-3571.
Thank
I've
you.
given up trying to memorize things because I just have too many things in my
Good.
brain.
Leave room for other things.
Yep, that's right. That's what I'm doing.
Thanks for such a a lively and flowing presentation. I think we all know something we didn't know before.
Well, good. I hope maybe I got some people on the fence as to whether to register or not.
Yeah, you put out good bait.
Between that and the $35 that Columbus chapter is giving people. Yeah.
Thank you, Janet.
All right.
you,
Thank you
Janet.
so much.
Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having me. Take care and
pleasure.
see you all either in Zoom or in person at the convention. Take care.
Great.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Janet.